Hello everyone, I hope you're fine. I wasn't even planning to do this video now, but honestly, during the last days, I noticed that the topic about representation is becoming more and more spoken about in the community. In particular, since the announcement of the last DBD character, last DBD survivor, aka Sable Ward. For the next chapter that is going to be released in March, All Things Wicked. There have been a lot of debates, because a lot of people, for who doesn't believe it, it didn't start for me, as usually, people look at me for the topic of representation, but this time, I want to go step by step and see what the developers do. So I only said that I relate to Sable, but I didn't assume anything, I didn't speak about anything, I want to see the developers speaking of this stuff. But Sable was immediately, in a certain way, made headcanoned in a lesbian girl and even in a trans girl. Why all of these things? There are some elements in the lore that actually support the canon of the community. This is why I don't understand the reactions of people, you are forcing a sexuality on a person and stuff like that. Especially when I see around even at canons of characters like David that you can see here, with him canonically gay, and we are going to reach that point, shipped sometimes with in straight relationships, that doesn't look good. If you have a character with a defined sexuality and belonging to a minority, I don't like the word, but I think that it's necessary to use it in this context, and you choose the canonym in a heteronormative narrative, that doesn't look good. And why did the community actually react to Sable announcement as mainly a lesbian girl? Then we reach the trans girl as well. Let's look at their story. If you read it well, it speaks of a friendship between her and Michaela. You can say, it can be just a friendship. And I can agree, it can actually be just a friendship. The lore is not detailed enough to say something more. We are gonna reach the point of why, people seeing this the representation they are looking for. Because, I think that it's a problem of communication, once again. It's also a problem of lack of representation that happened in Dead by Daylight for years, with no communication at all about that. And, yeah, you can see that she has a really deep friendship with Michaela. This kind of friendship reminds to some actually the friendship between Max and Chloe from Life is Strange. So, possibly more than just a friendship. I think that it's kind of normal that stuff like this. I think it's kind of interesting that you can see something more. Also because Sable literally jump in the fog to look for Michaela, and they look worried for each other. Also there is a page, now I don't remember exactly which one, of a previous tome that actually made Michaela look like, I think it was the tome of Michaela. We can look at it in the game really, really fast. The game is having some problems right now. We go in the compendium. The tome of Michaela was Discordance. No, this is Jonah. Can be Devotion. twins. Legion. Ghost twins and David, no. This is the tomb where they showed that David was gay. They released so many tomes. No, this is the school merchant, so this is the other one. It should be this then. Ghostface. Meg was the extant survivor. Yeah, it was the Tom 13. Like, there is a page of the way where she looks at Claudette that many people saw as a sort of love interest. Not love interest, but like, you know, like the first hints at her being possibly LGBTQ. This was neither confirmed or denied by behavior during this time. I think it was this, yeah. I think it was this, like, and people thought of this like a way of how Michaela was kind of attracted by Claudette when she was able to see into the fog. So, like, there was already this kind of connection with Michaela, so the moment, like, you read of this friendship, like, it feels like it can be something more, you know? The Dead by Daylight community always lived over canons, like, even David himself was the canon as gay before he came out as gay. Like, now, there is another way of looking at Sable, like the other headcanon that is spreading around, and that honestly I welcome, is Sable being trans. Why do people look at Sable being trans? First of all, because of the name. Like, it looks like a name that you give it to yourself. Especially if you look at the lore of Sable. Like, first of all, she describes her parents as people who wouldn't give her this name. And then she says a thing that is they didn't understand the first thing about her. Like, this has to be something about the identity, you know? I don't think it's about her way of dressing, her interest and stuff like that, you know? I think, or her personality. I think it's more about the identity, you know? And I don't know, like, it feels like a strong thing to say, like, because the first thing doesn't feel like this, like, not being into ponies or dolls. But it feels more about her identity. So, even this actually opened to possible interpretation. Now, can we say something about it? Of course, no. Like, this is just the canons and stuff. Like, it's only behavior who knows what they are doing or what they are not doing. But why do people jump at even over this? Like, because, like, you have to see the story of the community to understand why a part of the community reacts in a certain way. And if you are not part of that community, like, it's really hard to understand where they're coming. Okay, so these two are the canons, like the friendship with Michaela that can be something more, and the hair possibly being trans because, like, of these lines in the lore. Okay. Now let's give a look to the story of representation in the Dead by Daylight community. Like, Dead by Daylight has always been a game where there is a really strong queer community, as in almost every horror franchise, you know? Like, look at Chucky, for example. Like, Chucky was really praised, and, like, many of the main characters of Chucky are actually belonging to the LGBTQ, and even the same writer himself is LGBTQ. Don Mancini is actually a gay. So, horror has always been a sort of attraction for LGBTQ community. we had the first representation back in 2022 when David King was confirmed as a gay character. Like one of the first cornerstones of our vast and diverse community are our LGBTQ players. The fact that our character roster didn't feature an LGBTQ representation was something we were determined to change. And like this happened in 2022. They made this big announcement, and basically that's it. Like the only canon character that we have as LGBTQ in the game right now is Susie from the Legion. It's not something that was shown in the game, but it's something that was actually shared in a comic book. So basically this is the only representation that we had since 2022. More people actually got upset at this because they said, but you could create a new character instead of having someone coming out. I never saw this as a problem because, like, you know, no elements of the lore of David King. Well, there was a story, but, like, it could be, you know, they justified that part of the story when he had a relationship with a girl, you know? But, like, I think it's not something like that it's impossible that a character that is in the current roster coming out as a LGBTQ. Because like the lore of these characters is so lacking of elements and like it's only centered, especially the older ones, in the moment where they got caught that and some elements of their life that you know, they didn't have to focus on that, and I think it's kind of okay. You know, like stuff like this can be shared or confirmed only, or not only, even through a simple cosmetic or a page of the tomes in the rift, in the not the rift, in the a page of the tome. I already said it. Right, like, sorry, but like after today I'm like really even upset the community. And this is the first element. The second element was when we celebrated the Trans Day of Visibility during the same year, and actually I even got an official reply by Mathieu Coté that who is a big supporter of the LGBTQ community and the trans community, like they are. I'm not gonna negate this. Like, I think that the single developers are supporting of the LGBTQ community and the trans community. I remember when they shown the shirt with trans rights and human rights. Now I don't remember what was written in the shirt, but like it was an open support to the trans community during one of their live streams. Like, I really appreciated that moment. So I think that the single developers like knows this kind of thing, but as Dead by Daylight, like we didn't have a reply or a confirmation or an update about this. Like 2 years have passed since then. It was 2022, well, even 3 years we can say, because it was March 2022, so the first year, March 2023, the second year, March 2024 is gonna be this year. It's kind of close, like it's the third year. So basically we waited for 2-3 years to have some more information. So at the same time, how all of these actually went, because like I should restart the game because like I know that there is something new that they actually are releasing now. Actually, let me see directly here. Like the Iron Maiden's collection is already here in the shop. This is not the thing though. Like let's go here. Like David basically since that moment, the moment where he came out, got only these 2 outfits in the in the shop. And like even this was seen as a bad sign of possible representation, you know. And I'm kinda a bit oh, here we have the Iron Maiden shirts as well. Well, really cute, but like let's speak of the important things right now. And this actually dealt like with some problems. Sorry for the showcase of the Iron Maiden stuff in the meanwhile, but like I wanted to show you the shop for David. Like that already was seen as something a bit problematic. And you know, like it has been a really long time. Then I wanted to show you something else because like I think that this is actually equally important to explain why actually, and speaking of lack of communication on this point, I'm trying to look into... Okay, here we go. So, this is Reddit. Like mainly in the AMA, I asked about representation, about trans representation. I could ask everything, like I had many things that I wanted to ask about. And you can see how, first of all, the reaction from the community, like a lot of times I got minus votes. And even once, like, it's a comment I deleted, so I have no proofs in a certain way, but like Dead by Daylight even answered me saying that I asked too many questions in the same question, because I said if there was the chance to see a licensed trans character, and then after the first question mark, or you are writing a licensed trans character, and they said simply, you can only ask one question, sorry, but these are the rules. So basically they didn't answer in any way to the question in general, and just moved on. And like that didn't feel really good, I have to be honest with you. So yeah, like basically this is how I got answered about the trans representation topic every time I tried to ask about it. And like I think that this is enough to explain why people are looking at these canons and like are really motivated at speaking of how they see in Sable the possibility of her being LGBTQ. Trans, lesbian, like we don't know anything about this, like it's only up to the developers to comment on this topic. And this is what I want to do with this video, like I want to invite the developers to give us updates. So, like, it doesn't have to be Sable. Like, I never said that Sable has to be trans representation. Like, she's a character I relate with. Like, I want to have her as a new main in the game. Not gonna lie. But, like, my head canon aside, that fits with the canon of other people, like, I'm not gonna say anything else. But I think that the developers have to answer at least to, are you working actually on more LGBTQ representation? Are you working on the trans representation? Because the last answer was from Mathieu Cote himself. Why they don't have my like here? It was from Mathieu Cote himself in March 2022. Like we had 2 years with no answers about this topic, basically. So I think it's kind of normal that the community is like seeing in Sable this possibility, because every time people were like, and I agree about this, to be honest, like in a certain sense, because like if there is a trans character, like I would like them voiced by a trans actress, and like I don't want at the same time that like for example Jane, who I related with for such a long time, is Patricia removed as her voice. I want her to stay there also because Patricia is such an amazing person that gives me comfort to know that she's still around in Dead by Daylight in a way or another. But for a new character like Sable is, like, I'm actually curious about it, because, like, the whole community spoke about not making characters coming out. Okay, Sable is a new character. Like, we know nothing about Sable. Like, there is this possibility. Tell us something more about her. And if it's not Sable, like, can we expect something like that being worked on during this year, or like having some updates? Like, this is everything that I think the community is asking for right now. The main problem is, like, another side of the community is trying to silence this needing of representation, because I don't think that actually, especially people who don't belong to these communities, have to speak about this. And, like, I'm sorry, but, like, it's not being oppressive or anything, because someone called me, like, I want to silence them and not allowing them to have their opinion. But, like, I think that a topic like representation should involve the people who get represented. Like it was happening with the possibility of using native Americans' culture for the possible killer, and like they had any right to show their concerns, and like the community had to just respect it. Instead, you had the people who disrespected that and even mocked them for their legit point. And like this is a problem in the community that is becoming more and more problematic. Like you can see it by yourself. Like I don't have to even speak anymore. And like the problem itself being like ridiculized or like shut up by a part of the community, and even big platform holders. Like I think it's even more problematic, because like you have to understand where all of these struggles are coming from. Like it's 2 years that we have no news, and like something was said only in the comic book, like not even mentioned once by the developers themselves. Like I don't understand this silence about this topic, because like they became a lot more communicative about some stuff, and I love that. But at the same time, they also don't want to say anything about these topics, and I don't understand why at this point. I think that it's really important, and I think that it's the moment that we start speaking again about this. Like, I'm gonna try to organize something for March 31st of this year. Like, we are gonna go for a new Trans Day of Visibility, so if you are trans people and want to do something like I'm here, we can set something, you can set a movement on social medias. I already know who I want to contact for a possible event, but like I think it's really, really important that we start speaking about representation again, because like having a big part of the community so loud about silencing the needing of representation, I think is really dangerous, and I don't want to see that. I don't want to see that legit concern and a legit problem recognized by the community is shut up and even ridiculized like this, because like in a like you can have someone in some individuals actually being a bit too aggressive, but I don't think that asking for the developers to be more clear about the representation right now is an oppressive thing, is an attack. It's just wanting some more answers after years of total silence, and having only characters belonging to some um, well, during the last year we had mainly licenses. I have to say a thing, like it's interesting that we kinda have the first trans representation in Dead by Daylight, but it's not a Dead by Daylight character, it's a Rainbow Six character, and not even the first trans character in Rainbow Six, but the second trans character in Rainbow Six. Chubarao is actually a played character, so like not super popular, because you know, like he belongs to a license that is not like having a lot of players in common with DBD. And but it's still played also by big content creators. I see Hans, for example, playing a lot with Tubarao. You see other games having a lot of representation. You see Apex Legends is like a paradise. You see Overwatch was working into that direction. Like, so I don't understand. You see Bridget from Guilty Gears, who actually got recognized as a trans character. Like, why are we struggling so much in a community that has always been promoted as LGBTQ inclusive? And that's it. Like, I don't want Sable being canonically trans or not if these weren't the plans of behavior. Like, only the artists and the writers of the character know this. I want to have some answers about representation in general, if it's going to happen in that bi-direction. And this is all. Like, I think that this is what the community wants, and I think that it's something so simple that we can actually speak and reach a point about it, okay? That's all for today. I hope that you enjoyed this sort of venting video, but like, I really wanted to speak about this because I think that it's becoming a bit ridiculous how the minorities who have been always ignored and everything are accused of being oppressors, while that's not the case. Like, we don't want to force anything or anyone. We want to know if these promises of representation are still going on and what's the status of this. If Sable already belongs to our community, is amazing. I would main her 100% of my time. Well, 100% maybe it's too much, and sometimes you want to play other cards. But like, she will become my #1 main. If it's not, I will still play her a lot, and I'll still wait for the trans representation need. Because through medias, like, actually, you can change the world. Like, if I interacted with more transpositive medias instead of what I had when I was younger, I could have the possibility of coming out a lot earlier. So just understand this. Like, understand that it's not just a video game. If you play the game only because of the loop mechanics, chasing a chainsaw, curving, whatever you want, like, fine. But like, for other people, a single game can be something else. Like, it's not just the gameplay. Like, it's not just a movie, it's not just a comic book, it's not just a video game, but it's stories, and stories, even through a simple avatar, can mean a lot for people, and like, having these stories being told, like, actually allow to people who don't know the topic to see more in it, and to people like me who try to understand more about themselves, to see that we are existing in the same context and with the same dignity of other characters. This is all for today. I appreciate it a lot, and I'll see you soon on live. Like, today, I'm gonna take a day off because, like, honestly, dealing with all of this is becoming too much, and I hope that we can start something bigger and more important in this community, because, like, at this point, it's really, really needed. Thank you so much.